Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Hi friends, today we are going to talk about Swadeshi Jagran Manch in this video column, and I am talking about Swadeshi Jagran Manch because 22nd November is the birth anniversary of this organization. Many people consider it to be an RSS affiliate, but that is not the fact. In fact, you can say that it is an organization which has been inspired by RSS, and some of the key members of RSS did play an important role in formation of this organization. The importance of this organization can be gauged from the fact that today Prime Minister Narendra Modi, his government, the BJP governments in the states, so everybody is talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat or self-reliant India, and this has been largely rooted in the philosophy of Swadeshi, which was propagated by Swadeshi Jagran Manch. So we'll take a quick look at how Swadeshi Jagran Manch evolved. So in 1991 it was set up in the backdrop of new economic policy which was being brought. Liberalization and globalization were two fascinating words, concepts or bandwagons on which everybody was jumping. So Swadeshi Jagran Manch cautioned the policymakers at that time that reckless globalization and liberalization will not help. From 1996 onward, when the Vajpayee government came, so there were a lot of you can say confrontation also between Vajpayee government and Swadeshi Jagran Manch on a lot of issues, and many people were surprised because they thought that both of them belong to the same parivar or same family. But the fact of the matter is that in Vajpayee government, BJP was in minority, or you can say BJP did not have a majority of its own, so its hands were tied. Some of the key portfolios were manned by people whose thinking was not rooted in Swadeshi. For example, you had Yashwant Sinha as finance minister, you had Jaswant Singh holding external affairs, then you had Arun Shourie holding disinvestment portfolio. Now moving onwards, then when we come to the UPA regime, so during UPA era, lack of transparency and corruption, these are the two key issues which Swadeshi Jagran Manch picked up and went hammer and tongs against Manmohan Singh government, especially during the second term. Now when Modi government came, the demands or issues raised by Swadeshi Jagran Manch, interestingly, so the government was much more receptive, and the government also had the capability to act on that because BJP has the majority in Lok Sabha. And then during the second term also, we see that the Modi government has been more receptive than any other previous governments to Swadeshi Jagran Manch's you can say demands or concerns raised by them. For example, if we take the latest example of keeping out of RCEP, it was Swadeshi Jagran Manch which had raised it. Swadeshi Jagran Manch raised the issue of genetically modified crops. Till date, not even a single GM crop has been given permission to be produced commercially in India. Then people like Raghuram Rajan, Urjit Patel, Arvind Pangadia, leading economist and holding important positions in RBI and Niti Aayog. So when they went against the Swadeshi economics, or when they also tried to go for reckless globalization and liberalization as Swadeshi Jagran Manch thinks, this is not my viewpoint, but this is what Swadeshi Jagran Manch thought, and today we see that these people are nowhere in any of the important positions in the government. It also the people in Swadeshi Jagran Manch, so they have also taken on organizations like Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They have opposed the blind introduction of vaccines in the health system, and they also raised concerns about the proposed Land Acquisition Act, and the government quietly you can say buried it. So all this shows that how impactful Swadeshi Jagran Manch has become, and sometimes some critiques or some political commentators interestingly also raise this question that why Swadeshi Jagran Manch is not adopting a confrontationist posture against Modi government, whereas it was much more aggressive during Vajpayee government. So what has happened? The answer to this question is that the Modi government has been more receptive to Swadeshi Jagran Manch, as I mentioned earlier, and that is the reason that when their the issues which they are raising, when they are being addressed, so then what is the point in getting aggressive unnecessarily? And as I spoke to some of the Swadeshi Jagran Manch people, they said that their strategy is to focus on three things. One is creating awareness on issues, second is educating people, and third is getting involved in constructive activities. Right now, the Swadeshi Jagran Manch has, over a period of, you can say, about 29-30 years, spread over more than 500 districts in the country. They have functional units in more than 500 districts, and they can hold any program or agitation or signature campaign there. And they are looking forward to expand much faster in days to come, because as we are all aware now, everybody has got hooked on to this new concept of Atmanirbhar Bharat or self-reliant India, but very few probably know that this is rooted in the concept of Swadeshi economics, which Swadeshi Jagran Manch kept alive even when liberalization and globalization were the most fascinating and attractive concepts, and anybody who was talking about Swadeshi or self-reliant India was considered to be regressive. But once now people have seen the downside of globalization and liberalization, so the stand taken by Swadeshi Jagran Manch on a number of issues stands vindicated. Thank you.